And so we've touched on fluctuating interest rates and changing market conditions already. Can you tell us how a business can best navigate those kind of complex financial landscapes?
I don't think there's a better way to navigate a difficult landscape than by doing a lot of forward looking. You can't predict when a difficult landscape is going to come always. You can't predict when your top client is going to go bankrupt. You can't predict when there's going to be an interest rate crisis that escalates your prices over a really short period of time. What you can do is figure out how resilient your business is by looking at it in a current state and then looking forward and doing some testing. Again, back to the concept of stress testing, it's really important to be able to say, if things change by 10%, what happens to my business? If I lose my key people, what happens to my business? If my costs go up by 10% or I lose my key supplier, do I have a plan B? What does that look like? And how am I going to mobilize that? How long would it take? If my bank calls me and says, we're exiting you, we've just decided that we don't want to be in that market anymore, and it came from another division of the bank and we don't have any control, we're really sorry. We're giving you 6 months to find a replacement relationship. If you have never met another banker and you've never cultivated another relationship, how quickly can you solve that problem? If you've never gone to a trade show and looked around, even if you're really happy with the supplier you have, if you've never talked to another supplier and if you don't know who else is good in the market, how are you going to move and react to those things that are outside of your control? So I think the answer is not a crystal ball, but to be able to look ahead on the road. And if you can't see the potholes, pretend there's a pothole. And then look at your business and say, what would happen if? So it's a bit of a what if game. I recommend business owners get a peer board, that they find an organization, there are many of them out there, that has good facilitators, that has peers that are like you in terms of size and makeup of business. Probably, you don't want your competitors around the table, but most of those organizations have a cone of silence rule that what happens, Vegas rules, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So at these peer boards, you can stress test or you can launch ideas safely in your business by getting feedback from other people that may have been there already or that are going to ask you good prompting questions. And sometimes we can be in a silo. All of us have blinders on from time to time on particular subjects or maybe about ourselves. I think that if you can get an honest group of kind critics that are going to challenge you and ask you to consider other ways, like reframe that, put it on its head and see if it still makes sense. I had a girlfriend that used to call that raspberrying. She said, have you ever gone raspberry picking and you're looking at this fence with raspberry bushes all across and you can't see any raspberries? And she said, so you have to do this. You need to turn your head upside down because the raspberries are hiding under the leaves, but you can't see them unless you change your perspective. So one of the most powerful things you can do in business is make sure you get the benefit of another perspective, because all you have is your head to live in. So that other vantage point can be the difference between making really good choices or making choices that maybe don't consider all the aspects you could be considering.